Paddy Pimblett hits back at critics who believe he has benefited from a UFC bias. Paddy says, I am just a fighter on his roster, referring to Dana. That came out on bjpen.com. Let's take a look at that. What benefit is it that you are arguing that Paddy's got? I've got to start with that. The only thing that Paddy has that you could recognize from the outside and say, well, that came a little quicker than normal guy, is a placement on the card. He's got great placements on cards. I don't think he's been a co-main event yet, has he? Might have on a non-pay-per-view. But they're feature matches. They bring attention. There's built-in mechanisms to being on the main card. Moreover, there's built-in mechanisms if you're a co or a headlining act. And I'm only purely talking about media opportunities. There's requests and opportunities that are going to come that are exclusive to those guys. The press conference itself, nobody from the undercard gets invited. Doesn't matter how good you are. We've had world champions fighting on undercards. They don't even get invited to the press conference. It's a big deal. It's a really big deal. But that's why it's done this way. It's meant as an incentive. No different than any other job or any other line of work. If you want more of something, incentivize it. So the UFC has. They don't discuss it. It's just for you to look around and see. But then you are in a position to follow the Vince McMahon golden rule that you're going to be given an opportunity. What you do at that press conference is up to you. And I only say that because the only thing that I feel that you could put on Paddy for having an advantage, is that what we're calling it, is his card placement. Dana didn't do that. You guys did. You put him there. There is a formula to know who goes on the main card. 100% there is. No, you could dumb it down and make it real simple. Get a room full of fight fans and walk athletes out one at a time and go off the ear test. Whoever gets the loudest pop, there's your main event. Whoever gets the next loudest pop, there's your co-main event. But you guys did that. I was in the room. I saw it happen. It was New York. They walked everybody out. They walked out Blonde Brunson. I didn't know Blonde Brunson was as popular as he was. They went crazy for him. They walked out Chris Weidman. This is in Chris's backyard. They went crazy for him. They brought out this dude with the Beatles haircut. They brought in a Paddy Pimblett. I had to turn it. I was working with ESPN. I had to turn to ESPN and say, who is that? And I'd heard the name Paddy Pimblett, things like this, but he just wasn't a recognizable guy. They were going crazy. That is how he got on the main card. That is how he got the placement that he did. Not due to a favor. And he might have earned that. He might have gotten that, and he might have achieved that a lot quicker than other guys. But you did that. You're the ones that clicked on his articles. You're the ones that found him interesting. You're the ones that wanted to hear what he had to say. You're the ones that thought the bangs and the donuts and the whole character. You're the ones that thought that was a good idea. So I only share with you that I don't know that I can concede that there's a favor being done now for the placement on the card that he's getting. The competition, the ranking, the likelihood of defeat perhaps seems light, but he's not ranked himself. How good is he? And we do have to start with that. How good is he? He looks as though he's a great competitor. He's in great shape. He can bring a pace. He can fight everywhere. He looks as though his nerves are under control. From what we hear, size is on his side. That he kind of understands how to pull down some weight, how to rehydrate. He's got the strength to go with some of these guys. But the vast majority of you believe that he lost to Gordon. So I'm just asking, what guys do you want him to fight? At some point, you're going to have to step into that opportunity, but I don't know how that is helpful. I'm open to it. If you see it differently, I'm sure with you that I don't know how that's hopeful. That would have driven me insane. If I couldn't get the matches, particularly if I had the mandate of the masses, I mean, that's the number one thing that you want to go get on your side. It's the whole reason you get up and you go to the press conferences. It's the whole reason you're putting on the tap out shirt and you're doing your hair in a certain way. I mean, it's the entire. Conor McGregor went as far as to tattoo his neck for these very reasons. To get up to go and get the mandate of the masses, so then you've got a little bit of stroke and you can start to position and maneuver. Paddy did those things. He has those things, and he still in fight and rank guys. Now, the only way that's an advantage is if Paddy wants it that way. If Paddy's happy with this, if Paddy's thrilled with the opponents, if Paddy thinks I got a great deal, I'm getting a lot of money, I'm not having to do that very heavy of work. Okay, well then I suppose that you'd be right, but I'll put you in that exact same scenario, but I'll insert Bo Nickel. He's not happy about it. Bo is not. Bo wants a top guy. He wants a 2-3 guy. He wants whatever it takes to get him into the championship, and he wants them now. So I offer Bo as a juxtaposition to Paddy because it's the exact same scenario with the exact same treatment, with the exact same theories going in to the matchmaking. One guy, it's not what he wants. The other guy, possibly it's what he wants. I'm a little bit confused on what the advantage is. And anybody that spoke up and thought that Paddy got a decision because of this special favoritism, boy, that seems like a stretch. Ariel Helwani had made a point on this. And Ariel didn't point to anything corrupt. He pointed out to some human nature, which was the judges are also fans. They listen to the media. So if they know, if they can feel who the promoter wants, that could influence their decision. That was a point that Ariel made. I wouldn't say that he's wrong. Human beings are human beings. There are some things of nature versus nurture that happen. And it seemed like a fair observation by Helwani. And I will tell you, in the world of boxing, that is how they fix fights. That's why nobody has to go to jail. They've been fixing boxing and they'll continue to fix boxing, and nobody has to go to jail. But it's because that's how they do it. The promoter will never come in and speak to the judge. The promoter will go and speak to the media and just know that the judge is going to hear it. That is how you give the message. The world's hardest way to prosecute something is when somebody hides in plain sight. I mean, it's a really difficult thing to do. And that's how they do it. And I will just share with you that to act as though that was some kind of a favor to Paddy or that was something inappropriate, I don't know. I think if Paddy were getting favors, I think. But it's a mindset. What kind of competitor are you, right? I lean to the Bo Nickel side of it. I mean, I will just share with you, they had an opportunity to put Paddy against Justin Gaethje. And this was the biggest opportunity that I have seen in a meaningful period of time, because with Gaethje came the president of Barstool Sports, Dave Portnoy. If this would have turned even slightly to Portnoy versus Dana White, you would have had a massive opportunity here. Now, I've never heard Paddy say he wanted that fight. That bothers me. As a Paddy fan, that bothers me. I need to know that my guy wants opportunities. There's no point in me coming out and cheering for somebody if they don't want opportunities. There's no point in me thinking, okay, this is the next guy and this is the future, if he himself doesn't see or believe that. It bothers me. However, I give Paddy a pass. And you want to know why? Because it's consistent. He didn't call it anybody. It's just not part of his shtick. Shockingly. Paddy's known as this brash talker. He's known as a trash talker. Against who? I've seen him counterpunch and have to get specific on a guy before. I've never seen him go after anybody. I haven't witnessed this. So when you talk about the placement, you talk about the opportunities, or you talk about favoritism versus for Paddy. More popular guy goes towards the end of the night. You did that. You did that. You're the ones that cheered for him, clicked on him, followed him on social media. You made him more popular than other guys. You put him in that spot. And as far as the opponent goes, I mean, that thing's got a real good checks and balances. Doesn't matter if you're main event, doesn't matter if you're co-main event, doesn't matter if you're the most popular guy. If you're not beating top-ranked guys, you're not fighting for a world championship. If you're not fighting for a world championship in this thing, what in the hell's it all about?